What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Amy Dangerfield. This video is going to be a little bit different than usual. Today we're just talking about little old me because you guys are nosy as fuck. And honestly, I do want to share a little bit more about myself and my background with you guys. Since I have been involved in this space, since I've been appearing on these different podcasts, there have been people who have been, poking their head, making certain assertions. People who really don't know me personally, but I guess were aware of my past and have been following my journey. And so there's some things that I definitely want to address in that regard. There's also a lot of questions that you guys have as well. So we are going to be covering all of those. It's going to be very interesting. We're going to spill all the tea or all the wine. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
What is this?
It's just disappeared.
What is inside?
Water?
Yo, she's Australian as fuck!
Okay, listen, I'm only gonna be addressing this one because so many of you asked, okay, the SNEAKO question. No, I did not. Let me backtrack for those of you who don't know the full story. I got invited by Melina to a stream with SNEAKO and SNEAKO. SNEAKO basically had these private chefs. They made this 5-course meal.
Are beats good for you, chat?
But I was late during the first course. So by the time I arrived, they did not introduce and announce it to me the way they did for all of the other courses after that. They just handed it to me. It was a shrimp and what looked like a raw fish, little like ceviche thing right next to it. I eat seafood, but I have not eaten red meat in several years. Not only was this red meat, this was also raw red meat. And so maybe like 30-45 minutes in, I got so incredibly sick. For anyone who's seen the entire stream, you saw me walking in and out, just trying to get fresh air, trying to like level myself and feel okay and really not cause a scene while we were still streaming. I think there were like 10,000, 13,000 people watching live. And a lot of people were like, SNEAKO, you're not entertaining your date. Honestly, it wasn't that. I got along really, really well with SNEAKO.
Well, you guys are already a little bit of chemistry.
Australian girls actually love
We
it.
got banter. We got banter.
Australians really find me like
Really?
not offensive. No. The foreign exchange students that would come to my clubs, they could not get offended. I could call them ugly and they'd be like, haha.
I actually thought he was hilarious. I know that a lot of people are easily offended by him, but he's comedic. And he's literally said that his whole goal is to be one of the biggest comedians out there. You can't reach that meteoric level without being a little bit offensive. In Australia, we have something called Take the Piss, which is basically Australia's version of roasting for Americans. And so going into that, I was like, I'm just not gonna be offended. I'm gonna play off his jokes, which is something I would probably do anyway in any given situation, just based on who I am, based on my upbringing. Australians have very thick skin. We are not easily offended and we love a good joke. We love a good laugh. So I got along with him very, very well, but no, we did not do any of those haram things.
Haram!
And everyone there can vouch that as soon as that stream was cut, I was straight out that door in an Uber home and I was extremely sick for like 3 days after that. So let's go ahead and just address this one right off the bat, since so many of you seem to be offended by the fact that I don't sound fully American and I don't quite sound fully Australian either. So here's the thing. I am an Australian person who moved to America 4 years ago. And over time, you cannot help but acclimate to the sounds around you. Now, some of this was intentional, but a lot of it is subconscious. In fact, I would say the majority of it is subconscious. The conscious parts were certain words that I would say that for the life of me, no American would ever understand.
G'day, mate. Oh, hey, bro. Fucking weather's a bit how you going, eh? It's a bit how you going. Oh, I'm okay. Are you taking the piss, mate? Yeah, taking the piss, mate. Oh, no, I just went to the bathroom. Righto, mate. Not here to fuck spiders.
When I would walk into a coffee shop, I would try to order a mocha. And I just said it like an American. I think I've actually trained myself out of saying it like an Australian. I'd order a mocha. And whenever I would say that word, the barista would always look at me and say, Americano. And I'd say, mocha. And she'd say Americano again. And it would like go back and forth like this for a while until I literally needed to explain coffee and chocolate together. So yes, for the majority of it, It's subconscious. I really cannot help the way that my accent has morphed and shaped to the world that's around me and the people that I'm surrounded by 365, 24/7. But there are for sure a couple of words that I can definitely admit that I intentionally trained my brain to say differently, purely for the fact that no one would understand me or I would be roasted excessively. That is why my accent is so fucked. All right, speed round of questions. How tall are you? 5'7". Would you personally like to interview Tate? I mean, yeah, who wouldn't, right? Is Destiny a girl's name? Yes. Do you read the Bible? Yes. Republican or Democrat? Republican, center right, I would say. Are you bi? I mean, I feel like every girl is a little bit, no? All right, so this is an interesting question. Are you ever moving back to Australia? Seems way better than Miami. Well, one, what are your sources? I'm not sure exactly what makes you think that in the first place. Miami and where I'm from in Gold Coast, Australia, specifically Surfers Paradise, Australia, are actually very similar. Funnily enough, South Florida is actually called the Golden Coast. I'd say that really the only thing that's majorly different between them, like landscape-wise, is the fact that there is more like mountains and hills in Australia. That's the one like point deduction that I would probably give Florida, is that it's super, super flat. But aside from that, Miami supersedes Australia and Surfers Paradise in every single way. People aren't aware of this, but Australia is one of the only countries in the world that doesn't have a Bill of Rights. And so when push comes to shove, those rights are trampled all over because they're arbitrary. They are not clearly defined. And when we're able to look at the COVID incident, for example, that's really analogous of the political extremes that will play out depending on the different policies that are enacted from country to country. So me personally, I would rather live in the US than anywhere in Australia.
Ask the Aussie girl to clear the rumors up about her stealing money from her ex and running away.
I debated whether or not I actually wanted to feature this one, but this has been a recurring thing. People who don't even know me, who, you know, followed me on Instagram and my ex-husband on Instagram back in the day, making assertions, and those assertions are that I actually got married to him to get a green card, and once I had that green card, I then proceeded to divorce him and leave him. I would never disparage any of my ex-partners publicly, so I'm not going to get into the finer details, but basically we met in Australia, dated for 9 months. He asked me to move to Hawaii with him, and shortly after being there, he proposed. We began the legal process for me getting my green card, and during the period of that time, that marriage did not work out. Again, I'm not going to disparage him. I'm not going to go into the finer details, but I left that marriage knowing that green card was not going to be completed. It was not easy to figure out, and it certainly was not cheap, but I'm proud to say that I am now finally at a point where I have completed all of my biometrics appointments. I have filed all of my paperwork. I've paid all of the money that I need to pay to my immigration attorneys that I personally hired, and that my 10-year green card should be here by October of this year. You know, I feel ridiculous pulling up the receipts and pulling up the paperwork for this type of thing, but I really just want to silence this once and for all. I had paid all of these monies and handled all of this in 2022 and 2023. This year and last, I got divorced in the year 2020. So my ex-husband has absolutely nothing to do with my immigration status. And in fact, our marriage ended before we could even fully go through with that. Because if our marriage is not gonna work out, then I'm not gonna stay there for a visa. Even if I need to pay more money, even if it's a more difficult path and a more difficult road to get there, I'm not gonna compromise on my morals and values. And so we separated, and I figured it out myself. Okay, so a lot of people ask me about my current career and if I consider myself to be a girl boss. Oh my God, that saying is just so cringy in general, mostly because of the connotation that's been attached to it. I mean, from an objective lens, I am a woman who is kind of my own boss. I mean, I do have people who I work for, work underneath, but in a lot of ways, you know, I get to dictate my schedule, the amount of work I do, the type of work that I do. I was very, very fortunate and blessed to be able to find a mentor. And when you read a lot of these personal development books, you take a lot of these courses, you know, the number one thing that a lot of them say is to find a mentor. But that's easier said than done, because honestly, the majority of people, and especially the people pushing the courses, and especially the people online on social media, a lot of them are fake and fugazi. And so I would say the number one thing is really just learn your industry, learn the legal, learn the compliance, make sure you're staying within compliance, and make sure you're not drinking the Kool-Aid. All right, guys, so we have answered a lot of questions here this evening. I'm sure I'll probably do another one of these videos here in the future. Once again, I would like to remind you guys to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, ring that notification bell so you never miss a future episode. And if you are so inclined, go ahead and support me on Patreon. I'm going to be releasing never before seen and behind the scenes content on that platform only. Again, nothing weird, so don't get the wrong idea, but definitely go ahead and check it out if you want to see some additional funny content. I hope you have an awesome week, and I will be back here with more content very, very soon. Bye, guys.